LeBron James is being quoted as saying, y'all know what the bleep should be happening. I don't need to talk. I love that. I love it. What do you think he means by that?
It means that he wants the Lakers to trade away their entire future to fix their deeply mediocre team that he is responsible for.
Well, but he's really good, though, right? He's still playing at
amazing.
Just an unbelievable level.
Jesus.
Did he get his midseason refreshments?
It's not midseason yet. He's they're 3.5 games out of home court in the first round.
Do we even think they're one trade away from competing for the championship?
I mean, they don't have the pieces to get anybody that's good, right? But if I make it the guys they've been talking about, like Buddy Hield or people who are shooters, and then you've got Anthony Davis is actually healthy, which is something you can never trust. You have to understand why at his age he would, like, if he's playing that well, Stugotz, it stands to reason that all of us watching this are saying the sport is better when LeBron James's teams matter, and the Lakers have to be about win now. How can they not be about win now?
Well, I mean, when LeBron's your best player, you're in win now mode. They've won 5 straight, but they need Anthony Davis to be healthy. There's not a move they can make. Like any move they make, Dan, it's not going to matter unless that guy's healthy headed into the playoffs. He has to be and stays healthy.
They've made massive mistakes in T-building. I'm not going to say that, LeBron is 100% to blame here, but they also traded for Russell Westbrook. And LeBron James was the driving force behind that, and they wanted to give up on it in less than a year. And they are currently still stuck with Russell Westbrook. You're not getting much more than salary filler in exchange for him unless you're tossing all your first-round picks in there. And I think Cleveland is probably the example of restraint here. They showed some restraint in the final season. Yes, they lost him, but now they've rebuilt. And I know that the Lakers are not a team that are ever really that interested in rebuilding. They would go again in free agency. They try and get the next star. But the Lakers in their current situation is a team that are just not very good. Like, you have to, at a certain point, acknowledge we cannot continue to mortgage and mortgage and mortgage with a team that we don't think is going to get there anyway.
But we were talking in the Big Suey, because LeBron can't think that way. You can think that way. The Lakers front office can think that way. But we were just talking about the idea of all of the coaches noticing what the other coaches are making and how the market fluctuates. When LeBron James sees what Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant get in Brooklyn with their power, why would he want to stay quiet and expect the Lakers to not give him similar things, given that he has every right in the world to believe I'm not only more valuable than those people, I'm better than those people? Why? If you guys think that these guys are all doing, and they are, comparison shopping on money, if it's a salary cap sport, why wouldn't they be doing it on power too? And why wouldn't LeBron be frustrated on, why won't you guys just get me everybody I want? And if Westbrook doesn't work, hey, look how fast they got Harden out of there. Just keep getting me other people.
Harden has value, though.
Yeah,
Russell Westbrook has
none.
negative value.
Right. They gave LeBron that power, and he chose the wrong players. That's on LeBron. It's not on Jeannie Buss. It's not on anyone else.
Understood, but what I'm saying is he still wants it. Like, there's nobody.
Well, Dan, I think he still has it. There's just nothing that they can do because of the moves that he made before today.
There is something they can do. They can get rid of every first-round pick that they have, and you can understand LeBron being like, I don't care about your first-round picks. But the owner of the team and the general manager, who I do not think will be there for much longer, do have some responsibility to the organization. Be like, LeBron, we're kind of teetering around the play-in here. Do you think we're beating Denver? Because I don't think we're beating Denver.
LeBron thinks that, though, if Anthony Davis is healthy.
Of course, he has to,
right.
but the organization at a certain point has to think about themselves. And they have to think, we can't just give away everything because we have you here. And also, LeBron, if you're talking about power and comparison shopping on power, he signed an extension. He can't get traded this year. He's going to be there in the longer term. He kind of gave away some of his leverage in exchange for the long-term security.
Oh, but signing an extension in a salary cap sport gets you the money. But I will say again, as an economy, right? The Lakers have been really poorly managed over the last, 8 8 years since Jerry Buss has left. The Lakers don't make the playoffs, and the Lakers have been, for the longest time, a mom-and-pop operation that people don't understand is a mom-and-pop operation. They're not as wealthy as some of the other owners who have all sorts of other business interests.
And they just lean on their friends. It's like it's a whole bunch of Kurt Rambuses running around.
That is correct. And so when LeBron gets there
They won a championship.
with the credentials that LeBron has, a championship that LeBron, yes, they won a championship.
They also got LeBron hiring Magic Johnson, hiring a Kurt Rambis type. They were able to attract LeBron, and you could give all the credit to Hollywood and the city of Los Angeles, but they did that. It's a weird. I'm with you, Dan. Your larger point, I agree with, but as poorly managed as they were, they got LeBron and they got the title.
Well, and they built a team. I thought. I mean, these names in retrospect, they're not part of they're not the major reason, but Kyle Kuzma was a good player. Alex Caruso was a good player. Like, they had a bunch of players that helped LeBron, and since then, they have done nothing but give him anchors. Like, they spend their money on Kendrick Nunn. When you have such precious resources, you cannot do that. But in the end, the two big moves that have them where they are, LeBron wanted Anthony Davis and said, we're not waiting until free agency. You're gonna do everything to get him now. And they gave up all their first round picks. You exchanged some of your capital, and then you cashed in all your young players you had developed for Russell Westbrook. And Anthony Davis gets hurt all the time, and Russell Westbrook, I don't think, is an impact superstar anymore. And that's the reason why they are where they are. LeBron James basically wants to make team-building mistakes and have the organization make up for them.
That is correct.
It's like you just continue. Yeah, I F that one up. Who cares?
But
Does he deserve that?
But this is what I would say to you. You're correct, but the entitlement that is, hey, after Kobe died and the Lakers were in a real bad spot, the economy of the Lakers is me. It's me and clutch management. So I'm running things, right? And so what is he entitled to? I'm asking you, in this age of the players keep score with power because there's a salary cap and you can't pay him enough because he's been underpaid everywhere he's been, for the economy that sprouts around him and the money he makes for everybody.
His greatness deservedly determines that he doesn't have to be held accountable for his bad personnel moves. That's your problem to deal with. I'd like the credit for making these guys good and bringing the championship here, and my gravitational pull making this a destination that other guys want to come here, but I don't have to deal with that. The Miami Heat didn't have assets to build the team because he wanted a fifth year on his deal, a year that he ended up opting out, and that great free agency signing wasn't a free agency signing. It was a trade that depleted all the Heat's resources. Not his problem. He's going to look around, want them to use all their draft picks, and then when Bronny comes up in the draft, he's going to be angry that there aren't draft picks to draft his son. That's how LeBron does it.
But because of the ego and the success, I also understand why LeBron at this age would look around and ask, hey, who in this organization is as good at their job, just doing what you're supposed to do as I am? Anyone? Is anyone close? Anyone around here close to as good at being responsible for doing what they're paid for more than me? Who's second place?
I think Jeannie. She's been successful there, and you could tie it back to her father, but she has loads of championships and loads of glory days in her past, and when she took over the reins from her brothers, she was the one that was able to get the people in place to talk LeBron to come over to the Lakers, and they won the title. Jeannie shouldn't be without ego if LeBron wants to step to it.
Which is what happened last year when this similar noise was happening with Westbrook. They were struggling. LeBron did what he's doing now during the All-Star break. He's at it about a month and a half earlier than he normally is. And the Lakers basically said, so you want to go to the Clippers then? So you want to go somewhere else then? And LeBron was like, no, I'm building my business here. I'll sign an extension. So like the Lakers did exert some measure of power last year, but they stink again. And it's partially because of the moves that the Lakers have made in getting role players, because, you know, teams like the Heat can just manufacture Gabe Vincent's and Max Struess's and all these players from their G League team and from development players, and the Lakers cannot seem to. They cannot seem to put decent role players around LeBron James, either with their signings or with development at the moment. They have before, but at the moment, their supporting cast just isn't good enough.
I'm not bullish on the Lakers, but there have been recent signs that they're kind of figuring it out. And I don't want to be too dismissive of Russell Westbrook because he's settled into a nice little role over there.
He's played well.
He's playing well, much better than I expected. I think there are signs there that they can get into the playoffs.
They found something in this Thomas Bryant. I don't know who he is. I don't know where he came from. I think he's 25 years old, but I know this because I have him on my fantasy team. The last 5 or 6 games, this guy is like 22 a game and 13 rebounds. He is good, and I say that having not watched him play a single second of basketball. They're on late, but the box scores are really, really good. I mean, this kid can fill it up.
I think this is happening more and more in sports. I know we've heard Bill Lawrence lament the way that his kids watch sports because it's all transactional. It's all numbers on a page. Many years ago, the advent of Moneyball in baseball, I believe it was the Toronto Blue Jays who signed Eric Hinsky without watching him play. They didn't even send a scout. They were just looking at his base on balls, on base percentage numbers, and they're like, we just like these numbers, and it's just all transactional.
Big damage.
Yeah.
What a great nickname he had.
Really. And his name. I mean, you're right. The nickname and just the name alone. Like, oh, there's a guy who's available. His name's Eric Hinsky. He's a baseball player. I want him.
I like all those guys. Corey Koski, same thing.
How often is this happening to you guys where an athlete's name to you is just numbers on a page? You're not watching that person play. You're
Any
just,
baseball player.
You're just saying this person is good because all you have in front of you is data that are numbers that tell you that that person is good. You would not recognize that person if he walked into your house and he wasn't wearing his uniform backward the way RG3 was wearing Hamlin so that you could see the name on the back of the jersey.